Now, brown cow.
It's about that
Hey,
time to break forth with the rhythm and the rhyme. I'm gonna get mine, so get yours. I want to see sweat coming out your pores.
it's good. It's summer. Sweat's going to be coming.
That's right.
I'm living in South Texas.
That's
Sweat's
right.
going to be coming from everywhere.
Sweat. It's gonna be a
It's
sweaty summer, Clint.
going to be a
Sweaty,
very, very sweaty
sweaty
summer.
summer.
Sweaty,
Sweaty.
sweaty,
Get some
sweaty.
antiperspirant.
Yeah, it's
Antiperspirant
going to be. It's going to be
deodorant.
hot. It's going to be hot. I'm going to go jump in the Gulf of whatever body water you want to call it. You do you, boo boo. I'm not here to tell you what to do.
the the Gulf of somewhere.
It's the Gulf. It's the Gulf. I'm just going to call it the Gulf. That way, I don't offend
The
anyone.
Gulf.
It's the
Just
Gulf.
yeah, Clint's gonna say the big water. Big water. I'm gonna
Yeah,
go to the
over
big
there.
water. I'm gonna go
Over
to the
there.
big water.
Yeah, we I'm not far from Port Lavaca, which is the Gulf, but it's not like go swim here at Gulf. It's like we're gonna drill oil here at Gulf.
That's
So
right. Yeah. All right, folks, it's time for the Hog Slop podcast, and we're excited as you can see. We're both wearing red.
we're both wearing red. And guess what, Travis?
What's that?
It's the basketball biggins.
It's basketball biggin awards. That's
First ever
right.
basketball biggins.
We've
An
done the
idea that I
biggin
had about
awards.
noon today.
We've done the biggin awards for football for a couple years now, and we decided, Clint came up with the idea to do a basketball biggins, and I agree with him because Clint, as me and our buddy Joe were talking about this afternoon, Arkansas may be an basketball school now.
Maybe a
we,
basketball school.
we need
Maybe a
football.
basketball.
We need football to catch up. We're
Yeah,
you know we're basketball and baseball school right now. So
but mostly track
mostly track. That's right.
and
So
debate.
folks, here, listen. My man Big C is going to tell you what you need to do right now. What you need to do right now. You need to stop what you're doing because I'm about to ruin the image and the style
You
that
know
you
what?
use.
You know what? There's a lock button right there. I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying it into the microphone. There's a
Yes.
lock button right there.
Like it.
Click,
Like it a lot.
click that like button,
Like
kid.
it a lot.
And then there's somewhere to share it. Then share
Share
it.
it. Share it
Then
everywhere.
subscribe. And then write a comment and tell Travis he's ugly.
Tell
Yeah.
me I'm ugly. I need to hear
Yeah, he
that.
needs to hear it. He
I
needs to hear
need to hear it. I need to stay
it.
humble.
I can't say it because people used to say we were twins all the time. We'd go places.
I'm getting y'all two brothers. Y'all are
But two
brothers, ain't
twins?
you?
Like, no,
Y'all
we're
twins.
not. We're not related at all.
No,
I don't
no.
feel like we look anything alike, but
Yeah, but we're just well,
well, we're tubby.
like I used to always say, all fat people look alike.
Yeah, now they do.
So anyway, folks, like, share, comment, subscribe, comment. Tell me how funny looking I am because
Tell him,
I get kind of a big head.
tell Travis that his
You know
face
what
is the
size hat
reason
it
you.
takes to fit this smug? Come
Yeah.
on.
No, tell Travis he's the reason that you listen to this on Apple Podcast.
That's right.
That
That hurts.
was a good roast. That was a good
Hurts.
one.
It's true, but it hurts. The truth hurts. So, Saint Michelle,
Pick his spirits up, Sean. Pick him up.
come on, spirits, please.
1, 2, 3, 4. You ever seen a lame man walk? Ever heard a dumb man talk? Never seen a blind man see? I promise you a change is made. You ever seen a cancer dead? Ever seen all the poor get fed? Ever seen a prisoner set free? I promise you a change is made.
Turn up the
Changes me, my Lord, changes
You know who Brian Luttrell is from the Backstreet Boys?
I mean, I'm sure I could pick him out of a lineup.
Well, his son is on American Idol,
Okay.
and one of the Wilson Phillip ladies,
Yeah, I saw her daughter or
her
something.
daughter, she got cut.
Oh.
I hope I didn't run it for you, but
Well, no, I wasn't going to watch it.
yeah, I didn't figure you were.
There we
So
go.
she got cut last night. She wasn't all that good. She sounded really good when she sang with her mom and aunt, and so, but she's also the granddaughter of Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys, by the way.
Who was connected to Charles Manson?
There you go.
I mean,
What's up, everybody? What's going on? It's time for the Hawg Slop podcast with your boy, bigger T. That's me. And my man, Big C, Clint Clark from the beautiful Victoria, Texas. How you doing,
Victoria,
Clint?
Texas. Big Tex coming to you. Hey, Travis, and things come bigger in Texas. My wife got this desk. Look at that. Look at that.
Oh, she got one of those that goes ups and down.
Yeah, ups and downs. I
I've
think
been meaning to get me one of those. Is it worth it?
I don't know. It's stuck right here.
Oh no.
Oh wait, okay. Oh,
Oh
let's
well.
raise that. Crap. Well, I'm sorry. I should have got situated. I'm going to lower the desk. You just talk whatever.
Okay, yeah. So
I need to
anyway,
situate
folks,
it.
it's good to be with you here. This is episode 193 of the Hog Slop podcast.
193. I would ask later. I'd guess.
193.
And I'd have been about like 7 or 8 off.
Yeah. It is April Fool's Day that we're recording this.
Yeah.
And Clint, there was a couple things I thought were April Fool's jokes that weren't April Fool's jokes today.
Yeah. No, I know the news about Buzz Williams. You
I
thought
thought that was an April Fool's joke. I thought, oh,
I'd heard a rumor. And man, but what a time to change teams.
well, and I'd heard that rumor also about Nate Oates.
Oh, I didn't hear a rumor about Nate Oates.
Yeah. And then and the same thing and what I'm hearing is, and what the rumors are saying is that they're not happy because in the profit sharing portion of NIL, that at their schools too much money is going to football. And so that's what's making them want to go to schools that's going to give more of that money to basketball. So, to me, I mean, Buzz Williams is a great coach, man. And so that's a big loss for SEC. Now, he's going to a team in Maryland. Their coach went to Villanova. Apparently, they lost 10 players. So he's going to have to restart with everybody, similar to what Cal had to do at Arkansas. So that's going to be crazy. The other one, did you hear about this?
No,
Spears is the guard from Alabama is transferring to Auburn. Now, is that crazy? like that'll help the rivalry. Like they didn't hate each other enough, man.
I don't know. We keep doing it to Missouri in football, and we keep getting beat by Missouri in football.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, I wish I hadn't brought that up.
Yeah. Thanks for the downer, jerk. Oh well.
Man, a jerk.
Anyway, Clint. Now, here's what. I hope none of those end up actually being true April Fool's deals, but from what I'm seeing, they're supposedly real stories, really happened. Holy cannoli. That's crazy.
But I don't know. I mean, Nate not leaving. He was just rumored and connected to it.
He was connected to the Maryland job too.
Maryland job. I mean, you might as well swing for the fences if you have an opening. I know we're going to talk more about it later, but the Final Four, all chalk.
Yeah.
And then you also had the Sweet 16, which is all Power 5. It used to be those guys that made that deep run were them senior laden teams. And I think we were talking about this last one, and they're talking about on there, like, man, he goes, them kids, they ain't staying there no more.
Yeah.
They're training them up and getting them good in the mid majors, and then they're transferring to Auburn. They're transferring to Arkansas.
Well, think about this, Clint. Arkansas, according to Cal in one of his press conferences, was one of the youngest teams, if not the youngest team in the SEC.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of guys with college experience on that team. You know what I mean? But now they were young college experience. Okay. Wagner, Z, Thero only had 1 year. Adu, Nelly Davis had, more years. Okay. I mean, because they're about to graduate. But we had a team that had some experience, had some college experience, and we had a few, quite a few freshmen that helped. But you had, Trevin Brazil, has some college experience. So normally you wouldn't think I didn't think of our team as that much of a young team. You know what I mean?
I thought of them as a new team that had
a new team. Yes.
Yeah,
you're exactly right. I thought of them as a new team, a pieced together team, all that kind of stuff. But I didn't think of them as a young team, I mean, they're not the Fab Five and five freshmen starting or something like that, or like Cal's had at Kentucky with a bunch of. I mean, I didn't think of them as young as even like Musselman's team with Anthony Black and all those guys, Nick
Yeah.
Smith and all them. But anyway, so it's interesting. College
No,
basketball's
no, no,
changing.
and it's gonna be fun to see what they do next year. We've lost. I mean, the only one that matters in the portal that we've lost is Z.
Mm.
I think it's a foregone conclusion that Thero and Boogie Fland are going to be gone.
Yeah, I think Thero could stay because I think he may test the waters in the NBA, but I don't know if he'll
Yeah,
I don't know if he's going to get a grade to where he'll.
yeah. Well, in that where and with Big Z, I mean that hurts. Obviously
Yeah,
you got you recruiting some size. I mean you're losing some size there, but I mean I really think you could get something in the caliber of that. They have three openings right now on the roster.
yeah.
And I'm sure, like you're at the very minimum is going to lose Fland.
Now
Uh,
we'll talk about some of those in a minute, but I do want to recap a little bit the tournament.
my
Okay,
bad,
we
buddy.
talked about last week. We talked with Bart Reed. Bart had us, he had us winning all the rest of the games. He was he
Yeah,
was
well, you know what?
he
In
was
all
very
four,
positive.
yeah, he was very positive. Really thought we'd beat Texas Tech. And to be honest with you, we were better than Texas Tech. But what's got this team all year is they have a drought.
Yeah,
They have a drought, and there's. It reminded me a lot of the Oklahoma State game in football.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
really, the parallels were a lot because there's so many. If he'd have done this, if this would have happened, if you'd have done
yeah,
this instead, if you'd have done this, there's so many, there's so many breaks that had to go Texas Tech's way. Number one, they had to make the big run,
yeah.
and then at the end of the game, Adu makes that free throw, that front end. It's a 4 point game.
Yeah.
It's over. Then had you fouled the 3 point shooter, I mean, had you fouled, made them go to the line and try to get a rebound.
Well, and of course, the other thing is if Wagner had done what we've especially I've been complaining about him doing all year. He drives to the basket, but he doesn't drive and get contact. That dude was all over him, and he faded away instead of going at him. If
Yeah,
he would have went at him, he would have had first of all a better chance to make the shot. Second of all, he would have got fouled probably.
yeah.
Third of all, he should have looked down low because I think Brazil and Adu were there and available, and I would have trusted Brazil to have the ball down low in that situation with the
Yeah.
touch or Adu the way they've been playing down low and with their touch and ability. I wouldn't have minded one of them having the
No,
ball,
and
pass it off.
Cal said, obviously we had to do over again. He would call a timeout,
Yeah,
but I think he went with his gut, he with his instinct.
but if he would have called a timeout, it could have went the other way.
Yeah, it
So
could have went the other way. They maybe not. They
yeah,
couldn't have inbounded the ball. You couldn't.
yeah,
There's so many, and that's the game. That's sports.
that's right.
That's just sports. I mean, it sucks, but here's this team was. They were 0-5 in the SEC, written off for dead.
Yeah,
Everybody was talking about how Cal had destroyed his legacy. I mean, and that was what people were saying. Like, oh, it's
yeah,
they. I mean, they had said he was done, and this team could have easily have quit.
yeah,
And they made the Sweet 16 without knowing how the season would go. But I told you we'd been a Sweet 16 team. I think we'd all taken it,
yeah.
And
Especially when we were 0-5.
yeah. Well,
Now I do want to go back to the game real quick. And I think your example of the Oklahoma State game was a great example because in that Oklahoma State game, we're comparing football to basketball, okay? But in that Oklahoma State game, what did we not do that we should have done in retrospect to close that game out?
God, now you're asking me. I'm brain farting, so you're
We
at
should have ran the ball, right? We should have stuck to running it. We should have because we were pushing them around. We should have ran the ball, and and closed it out better, right?
Yeah.
Well, in this game, in this Texas Tech game, I texted our group text, live by the three, dot, dot, dot. Finish the statement.
Die by the
Die
three.
by the three. We were hitting threes early, and we thought we were going to hit them all game. In that big drought, we were missing a bunch of threes, okay, because we wasn't as hot in the second half. And so we needed to go down low. The announcers, what did the announcers keep saying, Clint? The announcers kept saying Arkansas is longer and taller at every
Yeah.
position on the floor.
Yeah.
Every position.
They were really impressed with the length of this Arkansas team.
Yeah.
And they
Even
really
our
were. They made an emphasis like they're just Arkansas just
yeah.
looks like the better, the more superior physically gifted team.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what Bart Reed said,
Yeah.
and it got away from you. It's a loss that you hate. It stings, and them kids took it hard, and I hate it.
All right, Clint. So we're sad we lost, but once again, whenever 0-5, we would have been tickled with Sweet
Now,
16.
that being said, you predicted Florida to win it all, right?
Yep.
Bart predicted Auburn. I've got Duke. So are you now going into the Final Four? Do
Yeah.
you still feel good about your pick? Would you change it if you had?
I might have switched. If I was changing it, I might switch to Duke.
I feel good about Duke. I really still think Duke's going to win it. I think. I think because there's stories about Cooper Flagg that are like Larry Bird-esque.
Oh yeah.
That and about him going like to a gym where he's like 13 years old and like
I
beating,
think I was telling you that one. Yeah.
like a college prep team or
Yeah, it was some of the best 17 and 18-year-olds in the country, 19-year-olds. And his coach in Maine had called this other coach and said, "Hey man, I want to bring him down. I got this kid that's 13 from Maine." And this coach was like, "Man, you sure? Because I got some dogs in here, man. I got some guys." And he said, and the coach just said, he said, "I had them playing." He said, "These guys they weren't playing around." And he said he gets out there on the court and first thing he does is dunk on one of them at 13 years old with guys 4 or 5 years older than him. So yeah, he's special. I mean, he definitely is. But I mean, Duke's got a good solid team all around.
See, this is when I love the NBA draft lottery because someone's going to say it's rigged.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
when there's that year that is no doubt who's going number one overall.
Yeah.
Because what they had the New York Knicks in the frozen envelope when they got Ewing
Yeah.
and all
Well,
these
that-
conspiracy theories.
Well, and I mean, there's people. I listen to ESPN radio in the morning when I'm getting ready, and they've already on the national deal. They're already talking about it. They're like, do you think the NBA is going to let him go to the Washington Wizards? Do you think they're going to let him? I mean, there's you talk about that conspiracy. That's probably the most famous one, but
Yeah.
LeBron going to Cleveland
Right, yeah.
is a big one, right? I mean, what's the chances that the guy's hometown team?
Well,
That's
and
that
a
big.
lot of people were saying that Wemby to San Antonio
Yep.
was rigged.
Yep.
And same thing when they got Timmy D.
Yep.
So when Shaq to Orlando, I don't think was rigged, but everybody knew Shaq was good. But yeah, I'm agree with you. They won't let him go to the Washington Wizards.
Yeah.
Just won't happen. I haven't looked enough to see who's in the lottery to see. Maybe something like the Miami Heat will get lucky and
Yeah.
and draw that number one pick.
Yeah.
Anyway,
enough NBA. That's our quota
Travis,
for the
is it
year.
time? Is it time?
Let's do it, man.
Guys, welcome to the first ever Biggins Award. Here's your host, Travis Cody Johnson.
What's up, everybody? It's the Biggin Awards. This is the basketball Biggin Awards because we're Biggins and we're giving out awards. And we got
Right.
some great awards today.
We do.
And so, Clint, are you ready for this?
I am ready for the Biggins
Are we
Award.
going to go down
Now,
the list just as you
well,
said
I
it?
don't know. I remember when we did football, you wanted to jump around, so I'm just going to follow your lead.
I'm gonna jump around a little bit. Let's do that.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
Let's start with the true freshman of the year.
True
Who would
freshman.
you say is the true freshman on this team? You got Boogie, you got Carter Knox, you got Billy
Billy Richmond.
Richmond. Who else? That's it, right?
I think that's it. I think those were the three. If there may be another one, and I just can't think about it, and
Well,
you're
that's
yelling
the
at
that's
me.
the three most important ones
That's
right
that's
there.
the three. And guys, and we're just going to have to be honest. We're going to be more skewed to the end of the year,
Yep.
just because that's when basketball was fun again.
Yep.
In the tournament run, that's fresh in our mind. So forgive us. But I've got to go Carter Knox on this one. I thought from start to finish, it was early in the season, Boogie helped carry us a lot, and Billy Richmond was also a solid. There wasn't a bad choice here, but I think we both agree it's going to be Carter Knox.
Well, and I agree with you. And here's why, Clint. You know, I'm a guy that I don't just look at the stats of a guy. Okay, I'm not gonna look at if you went by stats, you'd probably have to go with Boogie just because he was leading in so many statistical categories. But if you watch the game, Carter Knox gave you so much, especially with this short bench that we had.
Oh, by the way, Carter Knox says let's run it back next year.
That's right.
First one to say he's coming back.
And the rumor is he's doing it for $15 million. By the way,
What? Well, I would come back to.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, and that's including that's not just from the school. He's got an Adidas contract. He's got like some other kind of underwear contract he's doing and stuff like that. So it's like I think he had 9 million this year, and I think for next year there's projected to
Right,
be
yeah. I'm sure
15.
he's getting, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
he's taking good
So anyway, but Carter Knox, he's so versatile because he's big and strong. Like I was thinking, and I mentioned on here last week, I would think, he didn't end up doing it, but I would have put him on top in some against Texas Tech. Like
Yeah.
he's the type of guy he could guard a bigger guy just because he muscled up so much. I mean, he's a strong guy. So anyway, so how about uh he's the true freshman, but in this time of basketball, Clint, we also had to recognize just our newcomers that are transfers.
Yes, and you know what? When I sent these to you and I put my preliminary winners down, I thought everybody,
Everybody in the club.
everybody. I mean, even talking about Brazil. He got in the portal, jumped back out, came
That's
back
right.
to
Yeah, let's
Arkansas,
count him
changed
too.
his number. You count too, son.
Yeah,
The entire coaching staff, except for you, Ronnie Brewer. No, we
that's
do.
right. Yeah.
But
You've been here. Sorry, buddy. We love you, but
dude, can you imagine the amount of basketball knowledge that kid has? Because he raised by Ronnie Brewer, by Ron Brewer Sr.
yeah,
Then he worked under Cal, and now he's working under under Cal and Muss.
yeah.
He,
Played
he
in the NBA.
played in the NBA. He's definitely you gonna see a few years down the line. He's gonna get a shot with somebody, and he's
Yeah,
just gonna become a heck of a coach.
yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry, but
And
no,
by the way, my buddy David, who listens to the podcast and watches it or whatever, David
great
Burns
listeners.
lives in Huntsville, Alabama. Him and his family went to the SEC tournament and got to meet Ronnie Brewer. Ronnie Brewer took a picture with him and his son Noah and their
Oh,
families.
cool.
So anyway, they were excited about that. So shout out David. Um,
There we go.
David's a strange fellow, but he's a good guy. Anyway,
But by the way, I had to give it to everybody. I mean, like this entire team was nothing but transfers. When Coach Cal says, "We got no team," I got to put a team together.
yeah.
He went in the portal and he got a bunch
And I'm with you, man, because at times I mean, you can look at certain times of the year and you could say, well, Thero, no, Big Z, no, Adu, no. I mean, because all those guys, Wagner, I mean, you could make an argument for every one of them. So yeah, I'm with you. Here's one that I'm proud to throw in. I'm glad you put this in there, and I think it's a great award, and I'm proud of the person we're giving it to. The Step Up Award.
I've actually been sitting here debating this one
Okay.
as I've done it because I agree with it 100% because, like I said, we're skewed towards the end, and so we're going to give it to Trayvon Brazile,
Yep.
and he deserves it, man.
Yeah.
The guy went from non-existent to just killing it
Yeah.
to being a guy that was one of the better players on a Sweet 16 team.
And not only that, he's one of the best. I mean, Bart mentioned this last week, and I've thought about it ever since. And I'm like, you know what? He's right. Trevin Brazil's been one of the best players in the country
Yeah,
in those last few weeks. When you look at everything he's done, filling the stat line, defensively, hustle, everything else, he ended the season so well. Now, beginning of the season, and there were some times even at the end of the season, he tends to make some mental errors here and there. But man, just to see where he was last year, to see the potential he had before that, and you wondering like, where is that guy? And all of a sudden, oh, there's that guy. Yeah, I agreed with that one. Now, who was your other one you were
yeah. I
thinking
was
about?
thinking because there was a time when this team was Boogie Fland's team,
Yeah,
and everybody thought, "Oh, it's over." And who took over at point? But
yeah,
DJ Wagner.
yeah,
And so I really, we're skewed to the end of the year when we saw. I mean, the thing is, this team had
yeah,
two devastating injuries to their best player.
yeah.
Um, when Adu went down, Brazil stepped up. I really feel that when Boogie went down, Wagner stepped up.
You know who I thought you were going to say there,
Who was
and I
that?
think there's an argument for also is Nelly Davis.
No, 100%, 100.
Because I'll be honest with you, at the beginning of the year, I thought Nelly Davis is terrible.
Like, why did we get
I
him?
was complaining about his defense. I was complaining about everything, and he totally turned me around.
Yeah,
'Cause, I mean, as far as what I thought on him, and so, and an argument could be the ball should have been in his hand at the end of the game, you know. But I mean, I understand why it was in Wagner's. Wagner was a little
yeah.
bigger, a little taller stuff. But anyway, all right. Surprise of the year.
This one's a painful one
Yeah,
because we don't because it's always that adversity. Sometimes you don't see it coming, and I don't think if any of us saw an 0-5 conference start coming.
yeah. No,
I mean, I don't think one single one of us saw an 0-5 conference start
nope.
coming. I Some of us saw the Sweet 16 run coming. Travis, you had us penciled in going to the Sweet
I
16.
did.
Um, but I think fewer of us saw 0-5 in the
Yeah,
SEC coming. Um,
yeah. 1-6.
yeah,
Yeah.
just,
No, I agree with you. I think the 0-5 that was the surprise of the year by far. Now, let's do play of the year.
play of the year. Now I see. I remember most of these. Oh, now I remember because there was a time. Are we a tournament team? Or are we not a tournament team? Like the one thing that can't happen is we cannot have an ugly loss to a subpar South Carolina team. And then what did we go do?
We lost to them.
Had an ugly loss.
Yeah,
I think the final score they beat us by 15, and it wasn't that close.
yeah,
Um, like at all.
yeah.
So we needed a big win. Mississippi State come to town, I believe ranked number 25 in the country.
Mhm.
And that in sequence with Billy Richmond getting that block,
Yeah,
to me, that's the play of the year.
yeah. I agree with you on that. I think there was probably a couple times, but that was big because we needed that for the tournament. That was not only a big win, but it was at the time of the year it was. So yeah, I'm with you there. All right, now I think this one is probably a pretty easy one. Win of the year.
Well, you say it's an easy one, but you got to keep in mind what we did on that Sweet 16 run
Yeah,
and
yeah,
how that makes it even sweeter. Like we beat Kansas, a full strength Kansas. When we beat them in the preseason, Dickinson didn't play,
Yeah.
and another one of their good players didn't play, and everybody's like, "Yeah, we won, but did you really win?"
Yeah.
And so to beat them, and then you know, St. John's, New York's team, Spike Lee in attendance.
Yeah.
To beat Rick Pitino. I
Yeah.
mean, so you had to go through two Hall of Fame coaches, but when somebody says you're dead, you're done, and now it's like it's like that knockout shot ready to be delivered in Kentucky. We're going to send him to you to let you do it, and then all of a sudden you snap out of it and you make the big comeback
Yeah.
at the best time. That win at Kentucky, that turned. I mean, it turned it around
Yeah.
because I think we lost to Alabama after that, but I think Alabama was the bee's knees at the time, so I don't think
Yeah.
anybody was beating Alabama. But
No,
so
I think that Kentucky win was huge
that
because
that turned it around. That helped them
that
some.
that was when this team. I mean, especially looking back, that's when this team started believing they could win. That's when this team started believing they could make some noise. Okay, so
Yeah.
I agree with you. That's the win of the year. Um, let's go with the offensive MVP. Who
Well,
do you think?
we talked about this like earlier the weekend. We're skewed towards the end of the season,
Yeah,
but you can make a lot of cases for a lot of guys on this one.
yeah,
But it's got to go to Nelly Davis.
yeah,
Just has to. I mean, there's different times when Z carried us, Boogie Flan carried us. I mean, we had different lead scores through the year.
yeah,
But that end run when we were at our best, the best version of Arkansas team was when Nelly Davis was leading us offensive.
yeah. Yeah, I think if you skew it toward the end of the year, I mean, because you can talk about Thero and his, I mean, he was our leading scorer until he got hurt, so you could say him. But I think the turnaround that Nelly Davis had and giving us a true 3-point weapon, um, I think that was huge. So I'd agree with you there. But folks, comment and tell us where we're wrong there. We're okay with that. Now, what about defensive MVP?
Defensive, I mean, we're sitting here talking about play of the year and we talk about what a block that Billy Richmond made.
Yeah,
And so you could easily make a case for him. And there many of these other guys. I mean, this team, I think especially towards the end of the year was playing some great, great defense.
yeah,
Uh, I don't know if St. John's just had ugly offense or we had great defense.
yeah.
But either way you look at it, it was but Adu was just became a force inside towards the end of the year. And you could say Big Z too. Big Z blocked a lot of shots.
Yeah.
But I think Jonas Adu, where he was at the end of the season, was what we thought we were getting the entire season. Uh,
Well, and what he gave us at the end of the year was something we wasn't getting with Z and Brazil was somebody that could stop
yeah.
the power post player. And Adu was able to do that. And he was able to help out in that and so much. So yeah, I think that's a good one. I think, like I said, Billy Richmond would be my other one, just because he did so much, especially out away from the ball, away from the rim. Not just those blocks he had, but just guarding the guys out. Out in the 3-point land and stuff like that. But we'll say that. Okay. Let's go with. We'll save our favorites for last. So let's go with team MVP.
Dude, this was maybe the biggest. Like the Kentucky win was a no-brainer. To me, this was as soon as I looked at these categories, I'm like, how can it not be this person, Travis? So I'm going to go ahead and let you introduce the team MVP because I introduced the rest of
Well,
them.
the team MVP is already in a Hall of Fame. So you know who we're going to say.
That's right. And so
He
Hall of
could run
Fame,
for governor of Arkansas and win
yeah,
easily right now.
yeah.
He
He
could
may
probably
be
run for president, and I mean he's going to get a lot of votes.
He's gonna get a lot of votes in this, especially not in Kentucky, but the state of
Not in
Arkansas.
Kentucky. That's
John
right. Yeah.
Calipari,
That's right.
um, dude, this team could have quit.
Yeah.
This team could have quit the entire season. This team had every reason to quit.
Yeah.
Every reason to quit. And when he talked about, he goes, man, how much it meant to him and how much rewarding it was, because we were talking before the podcast went on about your passion of working with the kids. You could tell he really loves these kids. I mean, he
Yeah.
wants to win basketball,
Yeah.
but he also loves developing these kids into men.
Well,
And
you
talk
could
about
also see how much it meant to him when you saw his wife and daughter
yeah,
as emotional as they were on the sideline. And he was asked about that in a press conference. And he said, look, it affects coaches' families. He said, I know you say I get paid a lot and I deserve it. Yeah, that's fine. But our families get drugged through this too.
yeah,
And I thought, from the time he came to Arkansas, okay, he took heat, when we were 0-5 from Arkansas fans, but he was taking heat the whole time from Kentucky fans. I mean, they were trolling like crazy all year. Okay. And so I think for sure, yeah, with
but I mean, and there's I may have mentioned this last week. I can't remember what I say, but there was that Chuck Barrett clip that I heard. He's like, I have not met a person that literally cares less about what his critics thinks about it than Coach Cal.
yeah,
He's like, he won't even mention their names because they're so insignificant to him. And I mean, I get butthurt too easy. That's why I couldn't do that job.
yeah. Well,
I'm like,
here's the funny thing, Clint. My thoughts on Cal have changed immensely. And it could be just because I'm a homer. Okay. But I didn't like the guy at all because he goes to UMass, wins there, leaves to go to the NBA. He leaves. They get put under sanctions for stuff that happened while he was there, right?
yeah,
Then he comes back, goes to Memphis. He's there for a while, does well, leaves there. They get put under sanctions for stuff he did while he was there. Then goes to Kentucky. Now, a lot of the stuff he was doing is now legal. Except for at Memphis, there were some things about some grades with who was that point guard he had?
listen, I'm good. Derrick Rose.
Derrick Rose, yeah.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm just with great stuff. I'm like, you think like I think it was Mike Floyd comment on my Facebook page. Because you think Bronny's going to physics?
Exactly.
And,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you go.
Well, and that's the thing now. They're not. I mean, those kids. I mean,
They're
most
taking
of them
online classes and someone else
online classes, and someone else is doing them for them. Yeah,
yeah,
more
100%.
than likely. We can't officially say that, or can we? Anyway, all right. So that's team MVP. Now we're gonna get to the most important award: our favorite players. So, Clint, who is your favorite player?
Man, just somebody. There's always a player on the team that you maybe not doesn't have the splashy stats that you enjoy watching them play. And man, it was fun to watch Billy Richmond play ball on
Mhm.
defense, everything. And he wore so many different hats, because a lot of times he was handling the point.
Mhm.
Other times he was the wing. And I thought like the best version of this team had Billy at the wing with Boogie at the point.
Yeah.
Like that was a fun combination that we didn't really get to see enough of. There would have been, if Boogie not got hurt, it would have been fun to see that combination gel. But my personal favorite is going to be Mr. Billy Richmond.
I think that's a great choice, and we got to give credit to our boy Bart Reed.
Yeah.
From the time he watched them practice there, he was at that practice in Pine Bluff, and he said, "Watch out, Billy Richmond's going to help this team out a lot." And he was banging his drum the whole time, and so yeah, for sure. My personal favorite is a guy that I've been saying that would end up being probably one of my favorite Razorbacks of all time. I don't know if I can say that just because he ended up getting hurt, and so I'm gonna hope he comes back next year so I can say that about him. Because I don't want to say that about a guy that was there just for most of a season. But Thero, I love the way that guy played, man. He he was willing to do whatever it took to get a basket. He
Let,
didn't
let,
care about getting his shots outside. He didn't care about being pretty about it. He was just going to use his freakish athletic ability and he was just going to get it done. And he was going to outwork you. He was going to outwork you on defense. I just loved watching him play. And he's honestly, you know, my favorite Razorback of all time is, probably Corey Beck. And Thero is up there with him as far, especially if he comes back for another
yeah.
year.
Now, Travis, that ends the Biggins.
Yep.
Let me ask this question: if they bring back who you think they're going to bring back, there's obviously we've lost Big Z, Nelly Davis is gone, Adu's gone. What if now we got a couple 5 stars coming in, and I'm sure we'll do some stuff in the portal.
There's
Got
a
that?
third 5-star we're waiting on. He's a third-rate player in the nation.
Yeah, it's between us and Duke. Apparently,
Yeah.
I would be shocked if he chooses us over Duke. I don't think we're going to get him.
Well, but here's the deal. Our two other guys, our two guards, have been at the McDonald's All-American game with him this week, and they've been recruiting hard.
Yeah, I
And
know.
those are some impressive dudes. I watched their press conference,
Right.
and we're going to like having them.
No, and I'm looking forward. But so, what do you think the ceiling is for Arkansas next year?
I hate to do it, man.
No, you want to do it. I put you on the spot.
Dude. Final Four.
I see. I'm actually seeing. Here's what they need that I don't know that they have. They don't have that guy that can check a big body yet.
But
Yeah,
have you
I
seen
don't
who
know.
they're
They got
they're
that
looking
6'9"
at?
Lebanese professional coming in. I'm not sure. Is he that guy? I'm
No,
not sure.
he's not that guy.
I'm not sure
But
if there's a portal guy out there.
here's their targets in the portal right now. Morez Johnson, 6'9", 225, Illinois player.
Okay,
Averaged 7 points, 6.7 rebounds, 1.1 blocks, just 17.7 minutes per game. Yagzil Linenborg, 6'9", 240 senior from UAB. He's entered the transfer portal. He's also declaring for the NBA draft, so he's going to see what he's going to be able to do in the draft before he goes. Averaged 17.7 points, 52% shooting from the field, 35% from three, which is solid for a 6'9", 240 guy.
Yeah.
75% from free throw line, 11.4 rebounds, 4.2 assists, 1.8 blocks, 1.7 steals in 33.6 minutes.
That sounds like that's the guy you need.
That's one of the guys you need.
Yeah.
Here's another one. And this isn't the big guy, but this is a guy I want. Lamar Wilkerson from Sam Houston State grew up and played his high school ball at Ashdown. Okay. Listen to this, Clint. He's 6'5", 205, averaged 20.5 points, 4 rebounds, 2.1 assists, 1.1 steals, while shooting 47.7% from the floor. But listen to this, 44.5% from three-point range.
Sounds like he's taking probably mostly threes.
And on Drive Time today, Hoop Scoop was talking from hogville.net, was talking about, he said his threes are not just like toeing the line threes. He's a couple steps behind the line.
Yeah.
And he's expected to test the NBA draft waters and get feedback, but they're expected that he'll be back in college next season.
Yeah.
Okay. Now here's another one, and I watched highlights of this guy. Keyshawn Hall, 6'7", 235, I've also seen him listed at like 245 from UCF. He's a kid that Musselman had recruited also. Uh, Averaged 18.8 points, 42.7% from the field, 35% from three, 81% from the free throw line, 7 rebounds, 2.4 assists. Okay. Now he's just 6'7", but another guy like that other 6'9" guy we were talking about that
But you
could,
know, like Kamani Johnson was a good big for us, and he
yeah,
wasn't. I mean, he was 6'6", 6'7". He wasn't
yeah.
tall, tall.
And this kid's versatile. Like, you saw there. I mean, he's shooting 35% from the three and 40, Another one, Malik Renew from Indiana, 6'9", 232, averaged 13.3 points, 55%, 5 rebounds.
Yeah.
Uh, then there's on the watch list they have here is Tyrone Riley, 6'6", 180. Abadi Bashir, 6'7", 160. Yeah, he's skinny. Golly.
Well, you know,
Monmouth.
I think what we're seeing is that Cal sees what I see. Like, hey, we ain't got that. We ain't
And
got that.
here's Henry Vasir, 7-footer from Estonia. He's from Arizona. Oh, here's another one that's entered the portal that this is just on the watch list. They don't know if he's connected to Arkansas or not. Nick Pringle from South Carolina.
Okay.
Remember, Arkansas had a hard time against him. So Cal knows what he can do. He just averaged 9.5 points, but I mean he gave us fits. Here's another Mackenzie Mabako, 6'9", 222, another one
I
from
don't think I
Indiana.
don't think you're saying that right.
I'm more than likely not. Anyway, so he's they're going after some bigs. It sounds like they're versatile bigs. It sounds like with Z leaving, more than likely this is going to be a run and gunning team with what he's recruiting, with the guards he's got coming in. He wants some guys that can get up and down the floor.
Like I said, that body in the middle that can body a big body.
Yeah.
To me, you get a couple of those. This is a national championship caliber team. You get DJ Wagner, Carter, Knox, um, Thero, which Thero's one of them. I personally don't think he's coming back. I do think he'll go pro. Brazil,
But if you have Brazil and Thero already down low, and you throw in a couple of those 6'10", 6'9" guys that are 240 that I just read off that list, they can body up on some people. Then yeah, I mean you're right. Now, we don't have, Brazil would be your big shot blocker of the bunch, you know, but I mean still, man, I mean there's some solid players there. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what the Magic Cow can do. Okay. Um, Anything else on basketball? We need to talk a little baseball before
no,
we get off
yeah, I
here.
know. We about took up all our time with
I know.
basketball. But you know, and this is going to be a great segue. Um, I've always said about Dave Van Horn is you always know we may not win the national title,
Mm,
obviously, but we're always going to be a contender as long as he's there. And I feel now that year one's out of the way, the same thing with Coach Cal. As long as he's here,
yeah.
we're going to be in the conversation because what I heard one of the commentators say because Arkansas is not a 10 seed, they're a 4 seed and a 10 seed's body.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, but anyway, baseball big weekend series against Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Uh,
Vanderbilt's not the Vanderbilt that they've been in other years, but what they were 14th.
14th.
They're still, I mean,
But
they're
you know,
still good,
yeah, no, they're still very good. But
and
I
that's a
saw,
tough place to win.
yeah, and we end up sweeping them there. But I did see, I watched a lot of baseball because I have no life. Um, and that's true. I have no life. But anyway, you saw Vanderbilt's like lost a lot of their top recruits to the draft.
Yeah.
I don't know like a lot.
Yeah.
Like more than the normal team. Like And so I don't know if they're over recruiting. Like they're recruiting well, obviously, but some of these guys that like they're only like Syndergaard from the Mets, like his only scholarship offer was Dallas Baptist because everybody like knew he was like he's going to get drafted.
Yeah.
And I think maybe they're recruiting some of these guys that are getting drafted higher than they expect.
Yeah.
So, but it was a great win.
Great win. Tough loss last week against Missouri State. But you know, they're one of those that, you know, it's a midweek game. We didn't pitch our best pitchers. You still would hope they would be able to beat Missouri State, but that happens. You know, Missouri State's one of those teams.
We do play at Missouri State later in the year, and I figure we'll probably be motivated for that one.
Right now, Arkansas, as we speak, is up 5-2 on Grambling.
Playing that one in the Rock. I think they're at Dickie Stevens.
Yep. And the kid from Camden, Martavius Thomas, was hit by pitches his first 2 at bats. So I don't know what he's done since then, but so we've been talking. But anyway, yeah, I mean, this baseball team, man, their bats are, you know, that was one of the weaknesses we had last year. Their bats are looking good. We got some guys that are, you know, just, you know, we talk a lot about the Aloy brothers, but you know, we got some other guys that are stepping up and hitting well. The pitching at times is looking awesome. We don't have that guy. You don't have a Hagen Smith necessarily. You don't have that, but you got a lot of guys.
Yeah, you got a lot of arms. And Gage Wood not even pitching right now.
Yeah, you got him hopefully going to come back pretty soon. They say he's doing some throwing and stuff. So
yeah, well, the thing about this team is the pitching's good enough. You know, the pitching's good. Actually, it's good. Root is a great pitcher. I think Zach Root.
Yeah.
He's a great pitcher. He'd be your ace, and he's looked good. It's just his stuff's not as explosive as Hagen Smith.
Yeah.
But I tell you
Hagen
what,
Smith was pretty special.
Yeah, he's pretty special. He was the pick he was for a reason.
Yeah.
But last year I never felt like we had the offense to make a run.
Yeah.
I mean, we always seem to find a way, but I'm like, this team's got the offense to make a run.
They do.
It's got the pitching to make a run too. But the thing about it is now you got to make the run.
Yeah.
And they'll probably be a super regional host and hopefully the postseason's kind to us.
That's right. And we'll talk a lot more baseball next week. You know, we wanted to wrap up the basketball season a little bit today. So those of y'all that are yelling at us, Bo, I know, baseball Bo, you want to talk more baseball.
Bo will do better.
We'll do better, I promise.
It's Travis's fault.
It's my fault. So anyway, folks, Clint, it's been a good one. It's been fun.
Been a good one. Well, hey, y'all, you know what? This one's been so good. Y'all don't deserve us, but anyway, go ahead. Because you don't deserve us, like, share, comment, and subscribe.
Exactly.
Tell Travis.
I could have said him better.
Yeah, Travis, I love you, buddy.
I love you too, Clint.
Yeah.
Folks, have a great week. Be great out there. And go Hogs.
Whoopee.
Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Listen, that's why I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no harvest till I hurt. Crying your kingdom come. Listen, I wake up in the morning, I bow my head to pray. Mama told me if I don't, ain't nothing gonna change. These prayers breaking up hard drive so I can sow the seed. Ain't afraid of no aches and pain. Lord knows I gotta follow his lead. That's why I sweat when I work. My hands get